Hello, hello, hello. Just want to make sure everything's good. Ah, there's no glitches. Okay, just gonna go quickly. Why can I not see the live here? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, I can see the live. Perfect. So, hello everyone. It's Dr. Manjiri Nadkarni. Happy Saturday. Saturday, is such an amazing day. Just to chill and catch up with the rest of the week. So, super happy to do this training for you all. This training is very special for having 1,111 members in the Ayurveda for Health and Happiness group. And that's why like we're doing it at 11 o'clock. So it's all 11, 11, 11, right? So that's fantastic. So today we're going to talk about menopause and we're going to talk about managing your weight gain during menopause. So that is one of the most important, questions or one of the most common phenomena that occur when it comes to menopause, right? So women are battling through a variety of emotions. You're battling through lots of different stressors when you go through menopause and the menopausal transition period, which leads up to menopause, or you can call it perimenopause. And then one more issue that a lot of women face is the actual menopausal weight gain, right? That you're gaining a lot of weight, you try everything, no matter what you try, you just feel exhausted, you just feel that you keep trying things and your weight somehow doesn't seem to budge. So that's the recurring theme that I see in a lot of people that I work with, and that is one of the reasons I decided to have this training. As always, if you're watching this live, say a quick hi, let me know you're here. If you have any questions at any point of time during this training, just tag me in the comments or questions and just let me know if you have questions and how I can help you. Again, because of the legalities, I cannot give you one-on-one personalized advice because I don't know your situation. But anything that's general, anything that you would like to know about taking care during menopause or what's happening, and I'm going to try and clear the picture as much as I can, because when we educate, I believe that's when we start learning and that's when we are empowering everyone, right? So hello again, I can't see the comments here from the group, so I'm not seeing your name, but somebody's saying hello, I can see it as the Facebook user. So okay, just give me 1 second. Yeah, so Aisha Rathod is right here. Yeah, Aisha, it's been a long time since I've seen you. I hope you're doing well. Hi Vimarsha, nice to see you. So the thing with menopause, right? It's a life stage. So menopause is typically when women are at the end of the reproductive cycle, right? So our hormones are waning. We are no longer producing eggs from our ovaries, which are going to help us conceive and have children. So that function of life has ended, and that's when we are kind of transitioning into a different life stage, right? So that life where our reproductive years, which are also marked by the pitta cycle, right? So most of our middle age, so in Ayurveda, let me begin by saying that Ayurveda, we customize everything, and including the life stages as well, and certain, like the three elements that govern everything, or the three doshas that govern, the three energies that govern all our lives, all our bodies when it comes to humans, are vata, pitta, and kapha, right? So vata is the wind energy. That's the easiest explanation. So wind energy is how the wind moves. It's pretty swift, it's pretty dry. That's the vata energy. And as we age, we start developing dominance of this dosha in the body, right? When we talk about pitta dosh, which is the fire energy, our middle age is characterized by lots of fiery things where you're running after your kids, you're running a household, you're running your business, you're doing whatever it takes, and you're just being really busy and really passionate and really like marching on and on. That's the pitta stage. And when we're kids, when we're growing up, that the resilience, the nurturing, the building of the body tissues takes place. So that is the kapha stage of life. So initially we're moving from kapha towards the pitta stage, towards the vata stage, right? And women during menopause, and like even men like who are not really menopausing, there is andropause, that's what some people say. So when we're moving from your middle years towards, as we're aging, right, that's when you're moving from the pitta cycle of life towards the vata stage of life, right? And there are going to be different characteristics that are related in terms of ayurveda, and that's what we're going to talk about. So when you start having this natural vata dominance in your body because your ovaries are, not functioning, you're no longer secreting estrogen and progesterone, no longer have these hormones that were keeping your skin really nice and plump, um, that they weren't letting your skin dry out, or your muscles were really strong because of these hormones, and then you're losing these hormones, right? Or they're waning. So what ends up happening is you have vata dominance in the body, and there is this elevated and ungrounded vata. So the vata is out of balance, and this kind of disperses throughout your entire body, and it can also create issues with digestion, right? So the agni, which is your core digestive fire, also diminishes, and that is why a lot of women complain of bloating or excess gas or constipation or just feeling tired after eating, because your digestive fire also diminishes at this stage, right? So when your digestive fire also diminishes, it's also going to decrease all your metabolic fires. So from a high vata, you're going towards a lowered agni stage, right? So this is like the ayurvedic explanation for those who enjoy understanding, different ideas or different practices in terms of ayurveda. This is the ayurvedic explanation, right? So when you have difficulty in digesting food, when you're not breaking the foods down, digesting well, you're not going to absorb a lot of the uh, nutrients out of the food, and this is also going to lead to nutritional deficiencies, which again impact your ability to make certain neurotransmitters in the body, right? Because you don't have enough nutrition, or you're not picking up, even though you're eating the best foods, you're not breaking these foods down, you're not picking up the nutrients, you're not synthesizing the neurotransmitters, you're not synthesizing the raw material that's needed to give strength to your stress glands or adrenals, which are at this time trying to take over the function of ovaries, right? So there's this person, your ovaries, that is finished doing its job, and they're like, I've done it for so many years, I'm not doing it anymore, right? Your adrenals are your stress glands, which are a big part of the fight flight mechanism, right? So they are a part of our defense mechanism, and they're like, okay, you're not doing your job, that's fine, I'm going to do your job, right? But if I have my own job of immunity and everything else, and I end up doing your job as well, I'm going to get overwhelmed too, right? So that's when women start developing, a lot of fatigue, because your stress glands are going out of balance in order to support your ovaries, right? When you're not secreting progesterone, when you're not secreting estrogen, or even small amounts of testosterone, in our adrenals, the cholesterol pathway shunts from making all these hormones, and then it eventually ends up making a lot more cortisol, or your stress hormones, so your stress glands are trying to help out as much as they can, but they're not able to, because you're also going through high amounts of stress, right? So that is one factor as well. In real life scenario, right? So this is, we're talking about the physiology of the body. A woman goes through a lot of changes on an emotional level. When we talk about, menopause, another characteristic is also the empty nest syndrome, right? So nowadays women are reaching menopause earlier. In the olden days it would be 55 or 60 years, or even, so that was the typical time for women to reach menopause. Now with my practice, I see menopausal signs or perimenopause sometimes as early as 35, right? So at this time, there's a lot going on in your body. There's a lot going on emotionally as well. And when your stress glands are getting fired, so they were trying to do somebody else's job They were trying to help your ovaries with the production of hormones. And now, because of all the stress they are under, they keep producing cortisol. And cortisol is your long term stress hormone, which is going to have its own impact, right? So, cortisol is a hormone that is secreted by your stress glands, that is extremely important for many functions in our body, right? So, whether we talk about your stress response, whether we talk about regulating metabolism, whether we talk about inflammation, keeping that in check, or immunity, your cortisol has a role in each and everything, right? Your cortisol is going to act on your liver, it's going to act on your muscles, it's going to act on your adipose tissue, pancreas as well. When you have high amounts of this cortisol, it is actually going to break down your muscle mass, and it's going to actually increase the amount of glucose in the body. That also ends up happening because of the high amounts of cortisol that were also contributed because of the high levels of stress that you have, all the emotional changes that you're also going through, because hormones are also important for our emotions. They're not just there for physiological functions. In Ayurveda, everything is connected, right? So when you are going through this Vata stage, when you're transitioning to the Vata stage, the hormones are also changing, your emotions are also changing. You feel a lot more overwhelmed, you feel a lot more tired, fatigued, you start getting a little bit irritable because now your liver is a little bit overloaded trying to manage everything, right? So you might have sudden outbursts, you might be irritable, you might feel like just running away or just yelling at people. And these are also some signs that are seen, commonly during menopause, where you could be going through different emotional issues, right? So this cortisol we talk about is extremely important, right? So what cortisol does, that in the presence of cortisol, your muscles in the body are not going to take sugar inside them and use it up, right? At the same time, this cortisol is going to break down a lot of your muscles, and it's also going to break down a lot of, um, sorry your tissues and all, and it's going to create sugar molecules, right? So it makes a state of, it does something called gluconeogenesis. So it's increasing the sugar, it's increasing your blood sugar, it's freeing up all the sugar wherever it was stored in your body in different forms, right? And that can also contribute to what's known as glucose into insulin resistance. So when you have insulin resistance, your cells are not responding to insulin. This cortisol has again increased your glucagon, which is the counter part of insulin, or it kind of counteracts insulin, right? And then you have excess sugar, and that's also getting deposited around your belly region. So these are a few pathologies. I hope I'm not making it a way more complicated. Um, can everybody understand what I'm trying to say? If you have any questions, if you have any questions for me, just let me know. But this is like the whole phenomena that's operating in the background, and that is the reason why you're gaining all the belly fat, you're gaining weight, you're losing muscle mass, you're also losing collagen, right? You're also losing a lot of your skin texture, you're getting night sweats, you're getting hot flashes, you're getting vaginal dryness, you're also losing a lot of bone mass, you're also developing sleep problems because of this. There's also decreased tolerance to stress. And there could also be facial hair because of the hormonal imbalances that are happening at this time, right? So, in terms of Ayurveda, we talked about a high state of Vata. We talked about a diminished digestive fire. We're also talking about diminished metabolism. That's also the characteristic at this time, so that has to be really kept in check, right? So what causes a weight gain during menopause? Typically cortisol, typically also your emotions. When your emotions are out of balance, when you're going through a lot of stressful period, you are going to seek comfort in food. When there is Vata aggravation, Vata dosh is made up of air and space elements, and to balance it, you're going to be attracted towards sugary foods, right? Or you're going to be attracted towards salty foods if you don't even have any digestive fire left, because sugar is made up of water and earth element, right? And salt has a fire element in it. So that's also going to aid your digestion in some ways, or your body is going to naturally crave it because it's not having enough digestive fire. It's not having that stability, right? So when you're shaky, you're going to reach out to that sweet something, be it a pastry, be it a cake, be it banana bread, be it muffins, whatever it is, or chocolate that you want. And then you're eating it, right? And then that's when you're gaining also weight because of the sugar content of it. The other thing also happens is magnesium deficiency. So magnesium is an anti-stress mineral, and whenever your body goes through a lot of stress, the magnesium is going to be used up pretty fast, and that's when you could have more cramping and all that, right? And chocolate has magnesium, so that's why people crave the chocolate, whether it's your PMS or whether it's menopause. Around our cycles, typically women crave chocolate, right? So that's to fulfill the magnesium deficiency that's happening. So this is one more cause why you're craving chocolate at this time. So one of the things, now we've discussed menopause according to Ayurveda. We've talked about the doshas, we've talked about Agni, right? Um, we've talked about the causes of weight gain around menopause. You're eating more because of emotional imbalance. You're indulging into emotional eating. The Vata imbalances are making you eat things that are going to stabilize your Vata, right? Or crave for tastes that are going to stabilize the Vata. But the quality of foods also matters here. So sweet taste is also found in different carbohydrates. It's also found in different proteins. It's also found, if you look at the Ayurvedic definition of sweet, it talks about foods having earth and water as the main component, right? It does not necessarily mean sugar. Sugar is refined. Sugar does not have any nutritive value. Like, I'm talking about refined sugar, it doesn't have a lot of nutritive value. It's not going to give you a lot of nutrition. It's just going to give you that sudden glucose burst, and you're going to jump from one place to the other. And if you're extremely tired, it can provide energy, but it's not going to help heal your body or nourish your body on a deeper level. And that's what women start indulging in. And because you have also, created a stage in your body with lowered metabolism, with lowered muscle mass, that is now prone. Like, there's also insulin insensitivity. Your cells are not recognizing this insulin molecule, and they're not attaching to the receptor, so you're not being able to utilize that sugar, right? This can also lead to type 2 diabetes. I've done different videos on type 2 diabetes. I've done an entire series on glucose or blood sugar and refined sugar, so you can always go back and watch that. But it's all connected. So the more you realize, that okay, hormones, we talk about hormones, but hormones are not solitary events in the body. They're all connected to different systems, right? And another thing that I see in my practice is thyroid, right? A lot of women who have either a family history of thyroid, or they're on the thyroid pill, or they have asymptomatic or subclinical thyroid, where either they don't have symptoms but they're on the pill because they don't produce hormones. Other majority are having symptoms but the numbers are normal, but still their thyroid function is not optimal. So during this menopausal phase, it also impacts thyroid, and sometimes the symptoms overlap, and it can be hard to understand whether a certain symptom is because of your thyroid or menopause. So before we get into the management, it is extremely important. The first rule of managing anything and everything is to know what's going on, to know what's out of balance, right? So you have to sit down with yourself and you have to figure out, are you going through a lot of emotional stressors at this time? Are you evaluating your hormones? If you have high amounts of cortisol, you can get some easy testing done. I do offer salivary testing in my practice, where you just have to spit into 4 vials, take 4 samples during the day. We send it off to the lab, and you can easily, understand the cortisol and how much cortisol you're secreting. Is it too high? Is it too low? Because the treatments or the managements are different for high cortisol versus low cortisol. So the first thing you have to do is understand what's going on. When we talk about weight gain is something I work with a lot of clients for. But if you don't know whether you're losing muscle mass, right? Or if you have high body fat, or if you are
having a lot of water retention, then it might not help you. So even something like a BIA testing, bioimpedance analysis, where you exactly know, okay, this is the muscle mass I have, okay, this is how much body fat I have, okay, I'm retaining a lot of water, so I also have this inflammation, right? So the first is get into as many testings as you can to get the accurate picture of where you are, right? So get some cortisol testing, get some BIA. The BIA, body impedance analysis, I do it in my clinic. I can't do it virtually, but it's something that's very simple, takes 5 or 10 minutes. It's like $30 for the testing. It's not an expensive test, but you walk away with knowing what you have, right? And some people could have high amounts of body fat. Some people could have not so much high amounts of body fat, but they have lost a lot of muscle. So when we look at certain ratios, then there is a huge imbalance again. So the first thing is, get tested. If you're working with someone, work with your practitioners, work with your holistic practitioners, whether you're working with a naturopath, you're working with an ayurvedic doctor, or any holistic practitioner, work with them, but get an idea of where you are and what are your causative factors. What is causing weight gain in you? Do you have high amounts of cortisol? Do you have low amounts of cortisol? Do you have a lot of stress, or are you really eating badly because you cannot cope with all the stress, right? Or are you not eating enough? Because if you're not eating enough, and if you lost your appetite for some reason because of stress, the low you eat, your metabolism is also going to slow down. So these are different causes, and each person has a specific set of causative factors that are creating those conditions in them, right? Not everybody has the same factor. So get tested would be my first advice. Simple testings can be done. They're not invasive testings. The salivary hormones, or whether we talk about BI, nothing is invasive, but they will give you tons of information as to where you are right now. And then you can decide how to go ahead from here, right? So now we go to the management of this weight gain. So once you know, okay, I have this much muscle mass, I have this much body fat, I'm retaining water, I'm not retaining water, I'm hydrated or not hydrated, that we look at the management protocol, right? So every single day, being physically active is extremely important. And physical activity, when we talk about exercising, when we talk about yoga, when we talk about some kind of stretching or something, it's not just for your physical body, for weight as such, but it's also going to increase your circulation. It's also going to increase your lymphatic channel flow, right? So lymph is a system that helps your body detoxify. Your lymphatic system does not have any like pumps or something. Your muscles are going to pump them when you're exercising, and that's how they're going to help detoxify your body. So if you're not exercising, if you're not having an active lifestyle, you're not going to detoxify well. And that's when you start developing a lot of cellulite, or you start developing, you start feeling like really nauseated, or just have lots of toxins in the body, right? So exercise is extremely important when we talk about managing weight gain. And by exercise or movement or activity, I do not always mean that it has to be like a super high intensity training, or it has to be a boot camp. Start with what your requirement is. There's no one exercise fits all either. So be it yoga, be it walking, be it swimming, be it whatever you want, but start being active. And especially during menopause, when you exercise or when you are active, it also secretes certain endorphins which make you feel happy. So you're also combating stress, and that's why people get addicted to exercising as well, right? And people start feeling sluggish or not as mentally when they stop exercising. So this is something to note. So the first thing to manage your weight is start any level of activity that you can, which works for your body, but at least for 30 minutes a day. Get out for a walk, go biking, go hiking, go swimming, whatever it is that you want, you can do it, or just do yoga at your home. So this is something that will help you also emotionally, it'll help you physically, it'll also help you with detoxification, right? The second thing to always do is balance your vata dosh. When you're transitioning towards this vata cycle, you're going to feel anxious, you're going to feel disconnected, you're going to feel overwhelmed, right? So simple things like massaging your body with oil is really going to help, because once you're grounded, you're not going to crave those foods, you're not going to depend emotionally on those foods because you feel grounded and satisfied. So following a vata balancing lifestyle, avoiding crackers, right? I see so many women eating popcorn all the time, but you're eating popcorn because okay, they're low calorie snack and they're really good, but they're aggravating your vata dosh. So that one meal you might eat like a low calorie snack, but the other three meals you're craving something carby, starchy, sugary, right? So don't look at life as one of events, everything's connected, right? So if you're indulging in popcorn, okay, now you've eaten a lot of salt with the popcorn, now you're also retaining lots of water, right? So try to figure out what's going on diet wise within you, try to avoid anything that's drying you out, try to avoid any excess, like scratchy fiber like bran, you know eat lots of fruits, eat lots of vegetables, don't go for cold smoothies, don't go for foods that are dead or preserved for a long time, or cured meats, or you know um, refined foods that are devoid of any nutrients. This stage you need a lot of nutrients, you need a high nutrient diet. You don't need a high calorie diet. There's a difference between the two, right? A high calorie diet is going to give you all the calories in the world, but not enough nutrients. A high nutrient diet is going to give you lots of nutrients in your diet, but need not have high amounts of calories, right? So, this is something that you have to realize, and always try to balance your vata dosh, which can go out of balance typically at this time. So dietary, eating some nice root vegetables are going to help you feel grounded. Sweet potatoes are fantastic, yams are fantastic, right? You can add some flaxseed also has a little bit of estrogenic effect. So when you're not having enough estrogen in your body, you can definitely use some external estrogen, till the time you're transitioning. Something like soy. If you buy soy, buy organic, non GMO soy. And you can also go for something like miso soup, which is fermented soy, which is easier to digest than tofu. No? So if you have a strong agni, tofu will work because you can digest it. If you have a weak digestive fire, if you have a weak agni, you're not going to digest tofu well, and it's going to create more ama in your body, right? And ama is the other factor when we talk about a diminished agni, when we talk about a digestion that is not functioning well. You're creating this digestive toxin that's clogging your body channels, so you're not digesting this product, you're not being able to excrete. And ama can also mix with certain body tissues, especially fat in this case. And that's when you start developing cellulite, or you're unable to lose the stubborn fat, right? So always, the one thing to also do is wake up in the morning, observe your tongue. If you have a white coating that doesn't go away, you haven't digested last night's food, and you have a lot of ama in your body. If you wake up sluggish, if you wake up tired, if you are lethargic, if you have no energy, low energy, joint pain, feeling heavy, these are all signs of ama, right? So check if you have ama and start having some digestives, focus on increasing your agni. Simple spices can help boost your digestive fire, using cumin, using thyme, oregano, basil, whatever it is that you like. You need not always eat Indian food in order to eat an Ayurvedic meal or create an Ayurvedic meal. This is one of the biggest misconceptions. But whether it's rosemary or sage, sage also offers really good hormonal support if you're going through menopause. So having these foods as spices, is extremely important to take care of your body, especially during menopause and also for weight gain, right? So when your digestive fire increases or normalizes, your metabolism will eventually normalize as well, right? So that's what you have to take care. And then dietary, we talked about, vata balancing diet. Simple things like massaging the soles of your feet every single night. I do that as much as I can. Even if I've missed a day or two, I know I don't sleep as deep or I don't sleep as well. So taking coconut oil, taking ghee, clarified butter, taking it, just rubbing the soles of your feet, right? And just sleeping. The sleep is also going to help you recover. During menopause, women don't sleep well because of the changes in the hormones, right? And if you're not sleeping well, your body is going to go under a lot of stress. You're going to increase the cortisol, which is again going to lead to excess fat gain. So if you start sleeping well, if you start developing a nice routine where you're not watching TV, you're not, in front of the blue light constantly, that's going to help you sleep. You sleep better, you will lose weight easily. And there are actual scientific studies that show that sleep deprivation can be one of the biggest causes of weight gain, not just in menopause but at any time. There are studies done on shift workers and how they are unable to cope with stress as well as weight because of the unnatural cycles they're living in, right? So try and make sure, these small tweaks in your lifestyle, the smaller tweaks in your diet are definitely going to help you. And also, there's a fat is important. Now that we're talking about vata balancing, vata management, also having good amounts of great quality fat, not cheap quality fat, not the fat that you're getting from chips, not the fat that you're getting from, fried foods, but getting healthy sorts of fat. Flaxseed is a great one. Chia seeds are really good. Having fattier fish like salmon is really good, right? So these are kinds, coconut oil, ghee, olive oil, these are all good quality fats. Fat also helps balance vata. Fat is also going to help lubricate your skin, right? It's also going to lubricate your gut, and you're not going to have constipation, which is also common during menopause. And the better your bowels function, the better you're going to detoxify, and you're not going to hold on to the toxins, and you will start losing fat, right? So these are a few tips, lifestyle strategies that you can definitely use during menopause. And for each and every person, the one thing I do not recommend, now the one thing I absolutely do not recommend during menopause, and I've seen this happen a lot in my practice, right, is people go on restrictive diets. People stop eating, they're going on 500 calorie meal plan or 1000 calorie meal plan because they're like, oh, I've gained so much weight, now I need to lose weight and I need to eat less calories. So if you are going on a restricted diet, you're also aggravating the vata that's aggravated in the first place, right? Your vata dosh is increasing because you're transitioning a life stage, and then you're eating a diet that's further increasing it. So it's not going to help. So don't go on any restrictive diets. That's really going to harm you more than help you. You will end up losing a lot of hair, you will end up losing a lot more bone, you will end up losing a lot more muscle mass, right? Protein, don't go on any high protein diets unless you're digesting food well, because it could also impact your kidney function. So high proteins, and I've seen so many clients go on paleo diet or eat meats 3 times a day. I knew somebody who went on an egg diet and then started breaking out in rashes. So high protein is only good if you can digest it or if you have the level of physical activity to compare with it, right? So this is something that's important to know. So there's somebody asking me, I'm just going to quickly check who it is because I can't see any of the names. Okay. So Aisha is asking me, are there any herbs to be taken during menopause? Right. So ideally, I don't like talking about herbs generally because they're very specific to you. And an example is shatavari is very common, and commonly advocated during menopause, because it has an estrogenic effect and it can really help you with perimenopause or, help you with your menopausal signs. But if you have fibroids, or if you have any kind of growths in your uterus or in the body which is estrogen related, right, or any cysts in your breast that are estrogen related, or any tumors, then that will also grow when you're feeding it more estrogen, right? And though it's a natural estrogen, so try not to go for herbs over the counter. And this is also something, I discussed with Dr. Chetali last Saturday during her interview, that Ayurvedic herbs are extremely potent. They are not over the counter pills. They are not your Tums or calcium pills, or they're not, and calcium pills also have their side effects, right? So don't go and put things in your body if you're not sure or 100% sure how it's going to impact you. Always work with an Ayurvedic doctor or a practitioner, and a lot can be done just by correcting your diet and lifestyle. So always follow that, don't take herbs without any advice from somebody who knows about it or who has worked with it, right? And that's also the problem that I see a lot, people recommending Arjuna for heart conditions, people recommending, Shatavari for anything and everything that's to do with uterus. But unless you know what's going on in the uterus, you should not be recommending different products, so that's one thing to remember. Can we delay menopause or avoid pre-menopause is the question. So if you are having early menopause, right? So if you're having early menopause in your 30s or 40s, definitely, we can provide, like, through diet and lifestyle. I also work one-on-one with clients to help them, and I work with a lot of 35 or 40-year olds who start seeing symptoms of menopause, and then I work with them on a one-on-one basis to help them through that stage. We change the diet, we do specific herbs, so definitely we can delay it 100%. We can do that. Avoid symptoms, yes, and you can also rectify the symptoms. So for someone who's having a lot of hot flashes, there could be different causes to it. Sometimes it could also be caused by an overloaded liver. So when you start taking care of the liver, you can also help with the symptoms. You get a lot of symptomatic relief, right? So definitely, when we talk about menopause, if you're having early menopause, we can work together to delay the menopause. If you even correct the diet and lifestyle, and I say this all the time, because I see miracles every single day. I see them with PMS, I see them with menstrual issues. I had a client drive to me yesterday from London. I can't disclose any more than this, but we started working together. She did not even receive her shipment of herbs, and she didn't have her periods in like 4 or 6 months, and suddenly in a month the cycles are regular, painless, no irritation, nothing. And this is just a dietary change, this is just testing out food sensitivities, this is just lowering the inflammation on her body. We didn't, like, the herbs or supplements didn't even reach her, right? So I see these miracles every single day, and the reason I'm so passionate about this is that we can all do it by ourselves too. We can all start cleaning our diets, we can all start taking better care of ourselves, we can all start, decreasing the stressors in our life, so, and this itself will help with a lot of changes. And for women who are in their middle years, who haven't yet reached menopause or even perimenopause, right? If you take care of your body right now, you're going to have an easier time during your menopause. But if you push your body beyond its capacity, if you're really aggravating Vata in your Pitta stage itself, you're going to have a hard time during menopause, right? So take care of your diet, take care of your lifestyle. Herbs are fantastic. There are lots of herbs, different ones. Shatavari is just one of them. But there are lots of amazing herbs that can support you during menopause. But I really believe that, any kind of herbs should be given on a one-on-one basis, by knowing the person, by knowing what their body is like, by doing a little bit of pulse reading or a detailed assessment of your condition. And herbs should not be just dispensed on, over the counter, and should not be advised over the counter without knowing what's going on, right? So I hope this helps for anyone and everyone going through menopause. Menopausal weight is not just like a weight condition, it's a condition that represents every stressor going on in your body that is leading to the weight gain, right? So the problem again during menopause is not the weight gain, it's the result of the problem. The problems are different, the causes are different, right? So if you're going through stressors, if you're going through lifestyle changes, if you're going through emotional changes, get supported for that, and that will help you lose weight. Activity level is extremely important. right? So activity level is extremely important. Building your muscle, maintaining your muscle is extremely important when it comes to menopause. If you're losing your muscle mass, you are going to lose a lot of your strength, right? And activity also helps keep your heart functioning well. Most women don't realize that till the time we have our hormones, till the time you have good amounts of estrogen, they have a protective action on your heart. We hardly see heart attacks in women who are premenopausal. Once you hit menopause, because you're losing these hormones, now you're way higher at risk for getting a heart attack, right? And exercising can help you with that. Exercising is going to strengthen your heart as well, because it's also a muscle that needs to be worked, right? So these are a few things to really keep in mind when we talk about weight gain during menopause. I know I didn't give you one magic formula, because there is no magic formula when it comes to weight gain or weight loss. It is about everything in life, and that's how we should approach life. It's not about this one miracle that's going to, it's easier to sell this one pill that's going to fix it all, but that rarely happens. um, so thank you all for watching. Any other questions? So I can see a comment. I'm going to book an appointment. Okay. Have some physical stuff going on. Yeah, we don't hear enough about menopause because nobody talks about it. There's some information here, there's some information there, but there's not many people talking about it. And simple things can also help with menopause, right? So simple dietary changes, adding one herb or two herb. And I'm not somebody who works with 15 supplements and put you on like a protocol of 15-20 things, but I like to know what we are getting into. So I'm very thorough with assessing what's going on with you before I even suggest something, right? So whatever testing we do, or whatever examinations I'll do, what questions I'll ask, I'm very thorough with that, because that's what's going to really help you when we identify that unique cause that's causing issues in you, right? So thank you once again for watching this. If you know your friends or anyone, you're most welcome, who are going through menopause and having a hard time, you're most welcome to share either the YouTube video or invite them into this Facebook group, and tag them in this video, so at least they know what's going on. At least they take some actions to better their health, right? And we can all be much healthier. Like, I could be way more healthier than I am, and I'm trying every single day. And I know that's true for all of us, because we're constantly bombarded by stressors and different things that are impacting our health. So thank you all once again for watching. I'm so glad I could do this training for you. We have another question and answer training, or an interview, live interview, again today at 2 o'clock in this group. We have Dr. Manjot Garcha right from Australia, who's going to talk about doshas and emotions today. And I'm super excited to host her here. And it'll be really interesting to see, what she has to say. I know she's going to give out a lot of emotional support tips as well. And this is something she specializes in. She uses a lot of emotional healing and all in her practice, so I'm super excited for that. So if you're here, stay tuned and join me back here at 2 o'clock today, for dosha and emotions. And thanks once again for watching. Thank you for all your support. Again, if you have questions, you can always put them in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to answer. So thanks, and have a fantastic day. Bye for now.